This is a piece of Plum. It's a crotch piece. I got this from Dave from Calmwood Creations. I think it was last September. I actually visited with him. He lives on the other side of the river from me. And he gave me this along with a few other pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and make something out of it. I think it's going to be a winged something. I don't know yet, but we can discover that together. It's on a worm screw. I'll bring the tailstock up and we'll start cutting on it. Okay, I'm getting about 500 RPMs. I'll start with a swept back 5/8 bowl gouge and see if we can get it a little more in balance. So I'm going to move over to this side and just start some cuts to see where I'm going to be at here. Make sure I leave a wing on it. Alright, I think I can sand that up. I'm going to get these shavings up out of the way and we'll get it sanded and flipped around. Okay, I think I'm ready to sand on this. I'm going to sand it in reverse, and if I increase the RPMs a little bit, I've got about 500, I think we can sand right across that airspace. Yeah, it works alright. You gotta make sure you're tilting the right direction when you go across that. So, yeah, that looks good. I'll go ahead and get this sanded up to at least, well, I'll just sand it up to 400. I'll get it flipped around and we'll start cutting the inside. I'll put the finish on all at one time. So I'll see you when we have it flipped around. So I have it flipped around and each one of these ends have some cracks in it. And I'm going to fill them now with some CA glue. I'm going to try the medium thick Black Starbond that was given to me. And it's going on a, this is how I got it from Dave here. That saw cut there. I'm leaving that alone. About 650. Let's just get this side rounded off. And let's see if we can get going faster after that. So now is the time to really look this over and look for some possible design changes. And I'm looking at one right now. Alright, let's move this up. I'm going to go with that for now and get this cleaned up, and we'll drill this out and see if we can hollow it. Alright, I'm going to go over this area with a negative rake scraper. So I came out here this morning to finish this, and I had a couple little cracks, but now this morning I have another bigger one. It's just a big mass here and a thin wall there, and that's the price I paid for not finishing it, I think. So I'm going to do it now. I'm going to take this hollowing tool and remove the material the best I can, and hopefully it doesn't crack anymore. If it does, more CA glue. So let's get doing it. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger diameter, but I want to keep some bark up here. Well, we're getting there. Well, I have most of it at the bottom, and I think I got the bottom a little bit thin. I hope there's enough to flatten it off and not poke a hole in there. Reaching this is my issue. A few months ago I started to make my own bent hollowing tool and decided it wasn't worth it. I needed a wider bar to be able to do it. But just to try it, I took what I had was I bent this steel here and then I machined some of that shape into it, but it didn't want to stay flat. I've just epoxied a piece of oak on it here just to get this done, hopefully get it done. And I don't know, I've not used one of these before, so I'm going to have to learn how to do that while we test this, and while we keep it from cracking, and while we keep from having a hole in the bottom. Alright, got my face shield, and let's try this. So here goes. It works. I'm ready to sand. I think it's looking okay. Show you what I'm going to do. I'll use the 2-inch disc everywhere I can. And on the outside I'll be able to get this. And I can get that, but it's not going to be the best. So I'll end up sanding it by hand like that. But we're going to start out like this. I can do that real easily and that'll do a good job. And I'll just get what I can like that. I can get that good, but then it's bouncy. So once I leave that far, it really gets bouncy. So I'll just lock the spindle in place and sand it like that. On the inside, I can reach in here, and I'm going to go back to forward on that. And then I can sand that. The rest of it, I think I can carefully sand that like this. So that's what I'll be doing for quite some time. In the back, I pretty much sanded it, but a couple of cracks that I filled with the CA glue, I'll have to go over them. But I'll be back when I put finish on it and decide what I'm going to put on it. I've decided what finish I'm going to put on it. I'm going to use Danish oil. I want to get something soaked into here and maybe help with the issues of cracking. Slow the drying down if it's not dry. Of course, I got it real thin, and then sanding tends to warm it up and dry it. But I just want to get something on here. And I haven't used this Danish oil for a while, so I'm going to do it. Time to remove the tenon. Oh, I got my face shield on, and it runs, it's out a little bit, but I don't think I can do much about it. And I'm not going to go real fast anyways. I'm only going to go about 600. 3/8 swept back bowl gouge. Alright, I'm going to saw it off. So I've got the nub sawed off, I sanded it, and I signed it. And I decided that I like the Danish oil, but I want to put some Howard feed and wax on it. Can you just get a coat on it? We're going to let it sit for about a half an hour. Come back and buff it out. I'll do it to both sides. And thanks again to Dave for this beautiful piece of plum. Well, we did it. Here's the crotch piece of plum, all finished. It's got a lot going on. Starting with this beautiful bark that's on there really tight. It's all the way around the edges except where there was a saw cut. You can see it over here. It's in the crotch area. It's a wing bowl. And it's a hollow form. It also has lots of cracks. Now, I'm not real happy about that, but it does have cracks. So I used the Black CA from Starbond that I got. And I gotta say, I couldn't be happier with how well it worked. It went in there good, and it sanded incredible. I have not sanded CA that sands that well. And that's just my honest opinion, because I don't get anything for saying that. Finished 11 inches long, 7 3/4 wide, and it's 3 3/4 inches tall. I didn't intend on making a hollow form when I started this, but I wanted to keep that bark, so I kept looking at it, trying to figure out what I could make. And all of a sudden I saw that shape, and it's like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be making. So that's what I made. I hollowed it out, and of course I modified this homemade hollowing tool to get a little bit more support, and I glued that piece of oak on it. I'll probably weld a piece of steel on it, or maybe I won't. I ended up using the Howard Feed and Wax as my final finish, and I think it was perfect for this piece. It's smooth, velvety feeling, it goes on easy, and I just think it gives it a nice warm look. Happy with that. I liked how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button and the notification bell so you'll know when I have a new video. If you're not subscribed, consider doing so. And many thanks to all of you who are. Also, please share. It helps my videos to get more views. I enjoy your comments and I read them all. Thanks again, and until the next time, see you later.